why can't the OpenAIs and Anthropics do this? Why? Well, I think you sort of explained that, but you're building very specific models for very specific kinds of companies. So that makes you interesting to me because I'm trying to interview entrepreneurs who are doing a variety of different things with AIs around the industry, and enterprise is a big one. What kind of businesses do you think you're going to be chasing with this technology? Are you just going to go after car dealerships because you help them improve their sales process, right? But tell me where you're going as a company.
Okay, so we originally started out as a voice company. So my co-founder has a VoIP background. And what we thought was, because we are very good at making large language models operate computers, we could obviate the job of a computer operator in a lot of places, a call center agent, so to speak. It turns out, unless you have human forms in the third word, you really cannot run that business because the unit economics are really terrible. You can defraud your investors. I'm not going to do that. So we pivoted quickly to a much more valuable thing. Instead of cutting the cost, we said, hey, let's increase revenue for people because then we can keep more of the upside. And then that also allows us to do more interesting things because, well, when you try to go after decreasing cost for things, it's a bottomless pit. Someone can always beat you. There is no moat there. But if you get a step function change in capabilities, that's a real moat. So that's what we went after. We went after the hardest job in a car dealership that you could do, which was the BDR and salespeople, and completely abstracting that funnel, which starts from you submit a lead on a car dealership website and someone calls you and takes you through that entire process, does your financing, so on and so forth. And well, that seems really simple. It's just some guy talking to you and telling you to buy a car, but it's really complicated because that person has to function in tandem with the rest of the dealership. The cars need to be made available on time. The financing does need to be sorted out. If you annoy people and send them way too many messages, you can also be in violation of a lot of state regulation, so on and so forth, which a lot of AI agents do. But what is the important part here? Is it just talking to people? Or is it just converting more and more people? Or is it increasing the lifetime value of the customer for the dealership? Well, all of those things, in order to do all of those things, you need the AI agent to work like a person with the rest of the dealerships. And in physics, we call these gluons. So quarks inside protons and neutrons are bound by gluons. And that connective tissue is missing between humans and AI right now. We can package sort of a text generator that a human can operate, but autonomously operating an AI agent, we're just missing a lot of specification. But if you try to hard code the rules, you're not really doing AI, are you? And there is always going to be something that you're missing. So we work with large OEM groups that have 20, 30 dealerships. And all of the dealerships have different processes that they're running on. Sometimes they like a different software CRM, and sometimes they don't like a CRM at all. Sometimes they like to call their people, and sometimes they like to text their people, so on and so forth. The AI needs to learn all these rules on its own in order for this to be a scalable product. Otherwise, we are a service business. We are a consulting business just pretending to be SaaS, which is what we see with a lot of AI companies today. They call themselves forward deployed engineers, all those teams. But what they're doing is really they're doing consultancy with a bunch of AI. And it's a great arbitrage opportunity, but it's not scalable and it's not great for humanity.
Yeah.
So what we did was we let the model train on real data. This is something OpenAI, Anthropic, all of these companies cannot do. This real-time data, when you start training on it, you're just light years ahead of your peers, whoever is competing with you in that space. We know what people are buying, when they're buying, what cars they're looking for, how long these conversations are. And then we can optimize on the objective function of increasing revenue, increasing lifetime value, and then let the sales arm of the business talk to the service arm. Every car business is composed of two things. They don't make a lot of money on the car sales. They make more money on the service side. But usually, incumbents have siloed the data in both these arms. Every car dealership operates on a bunch of software called a DMS, a dealer management system. And there are 7 or 8 incumbent companies that have completely taken over the space. And people are locked into 7-8 year contracts with them. But they're very jealous about their APIs. It's like we are seeing the dead internet theory right now in play here. But they've been doing it for like 10 years. And there have been a lot of anti-competitive lawsuits against these companies. So we figured out we can write web actions models that operate all of these CRMs. So we run the entire dealership across a host of software that nobody else would do. None of the incumbents would write those integrations because they hate each other. And most AI companies will not do that because they are very thin wrappers and they're only concerned with conversions. So that's really the gist of what we do for the car business. But we don't really work with cars. I'm completely anti going deep on a vertical, especially as an AI company. The old software model was when a company matures, you go deeper and deeper in a product. The new model is when as you mature and learn more things, your agents become capable of doing more things. It makes sense to make them do more things because you have more data about more things. And in order for any AI to operate as a general agent, you needed to know a lot of things. So that's why we deploy the agents in car dealerships where there is not a lot of risk of saying dumb things. We learn on that, and then we deploy the same agents for venture capitalists, quant trading firms, so on and so forth. So that entire machine is fueling our frontier efforts.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're watching the customer over time, right? You're probably sending them emails, hey, your car needs an oil change about now, right? Or something like that to try to get them back in the dealership and pay a couple $100. And that increases the profit of the dealership. Like you said, changing oil is more profitable than selling in the car, probably, at least over time. And that same system could be used in a bunch of different other kinds of businesses as well, right? So it makes sense how you're